So at the same time that Abraham, Avraham's faithful servant Eliezer, is on his way to look for a wife for Avraham's son Isaac, Yitzchak, Yitzchak himself is out looking for a wife for his father Avraham. Indeed, the sages tell us that the woman Keturah, whom Avraham marries after the death of his wife Sarah, is not a new character to whom we're being introduced now. She's actually Hagar. Keturah is just a nickname for Avraham's former wife, Sarah's maidservant, Hagar, whom Sarah had banished from the household many years before. But that raises a question. Why did Yitzchak feel the need to go bring Hagar back to Avraham himself? Why didn't he send a messenger, just like his father sent a messenger to go find a wife for Yitzchak? Was Yitzchak trying to one-up his father? Probably not. Now, I understand that he was doing an additional mitzvah of honoring his father, but he could have done that mitzvah through a messenger. So I saw one commentator who explains that the reason that Yitzchak went to bring Hagar back so that Avraham could remarry her is that Yitzchak was concerned that Hagar was still holding a grudge all those years later against Yitzchak's mother Sarah for having banished Hagar. But think about that. If you go back to the original scene when Sarah convinces Abraham to banish Hagar and Hagar's son Yishmael, Sarah does that because Yishmael, our sages teach us, was engaged in all sorts of incredibly unwholesome activities, and he would have therefore been a terrible role model for young Yitzchak. He was engaged in idolatry and immorality and even possibly murder. He used to shoot arrows at young Yitzchak, claiming that he was sporting. Avraham did not want to banish Hagar and Yishmael until God himself said, Avraham, you've got to listen to Sarah. So think about the lesson that we're learning. If God himself says, you've got to do this, but that action is going to have a collateral effect of stepping on someone's toes or insulting them or hurting their feelings, you've got to worry about that. That's how careful we have to be not to hurt someone's feelings. But if that's the case, it raises an even stronger question. Why would Yitzchak have wanted to go himself to bring back Hagar? Showing up on his own might have further provoked her rather than appeasing her. After all, he was the reason that his mother sent Hagar and Yishmael away. If not for him, Sarah would not have had to banish Hagar in the first place. Perhaps here's an answer. Remember who Yitzchak was. One of the patriarchs. One of the most awe-inspiring humans to ever walk the earth. His own wife, Rivka, when she first laid eyes on him, fell off of the camel on which she was riding. She was so astonished at his sight. So maybe that's the reaction that Yitzchak was looking for. When he knocked on Hagar's door and she answered, and there he is, this awe-inspiring human being. Hi, Hagar. Remember me? Yitzchak. And maybe in that one transformative moment, Hagar may have realized, wow, I didn't realize that your mother was trying to raise somebody like you, a spiritual giant. Now I have to admit, my son Yishmael probably wouldn't have been the best role model for you. Now I understand why your mother banished us. And so now perhaps we can also understand why, at the end of this week's Torah portion, when the Torah tells us Yishmael's lineage, it describes his mother Hagar as being the maidservant of Sarah. You would have expected Hagar to be screaming up in heaven, no, don't describe me like that for posterity. Sarah threw me out of the house. But maybe now it's the opposite. Maybe by the end of her life, after meeting this giant Yitzchak, and after he brings her back and she remarries Abraham, maybe she realizes, Sarah was right. Please, in the Torah, describe me as her maidservant. No grudges.